Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I tried to recreate the Ballad of Jack and George for you.
Okay, this one here? Okay.
No one that's right.
Who would have the Ballad of Jack and George, because I threw away in the garbage.
Dan, I have one page.
You have one page? There you go.
I'd like to ask Matthew, if you got your mannerisms and your just everything else that you got out of the tape, did you just all extract that from the audio of the tape itself?
To a certain extent. Jason and I did take a road trip to Austin to visit Dave and Kathy and Bill, and we had a really great weekend. And they gave me a lot of helpful pointers as to mannerisms and vocal tics, sort of, and mostly what they gave was affirmation that we were on the right track. And so I'm just kind of a naturally twitchy guy. I feel like I have a lot in common, or I have had a lot in common with Daniel at that point in his life. I mean, he's...
Well, you don't have very many piano players left anymore. You have Elton John, Bill, what's that, Billy Joel?
Billy Joel.
It's been a while since there's been a piano player.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I just listened to the tape over and over and over again. And Jason was probably the most astonishing thing of this whole production was that Jason handed me a script that had every you know what I mean, all written out verbatim, and so I had that to go by as well. And of course, a lot of that stuff got dropped or kind of shifted around, but it really did guide me kind of towards the speaking patterns that Dan had at that time.
You may be damaged for a lifetime, but you'd be doing like that.
You know what? The funniest thing is that now everyday conversation sounds like it's been pre-recorded. Just like listening, because the tape is so casual. That it's nothing. It's really not very much like what you see on stage. I mean, it's much more low key. And so through the process of listening to this tape over and over again, like when I take off my headphones and it would just keep going. That just different people were doing it, so.
So there's something you talked about when I got this script, like you've ever acted before.
Right.
Yeah.
He's never acted before this.
Never acted before.
You had a question for David.
Oh, yeah.
We're having sort of a one-sided conversation here. And I was wondering, what is the content of your tapes coming back? What were you talking to him about? And what is the dialogue rather than the way?
Mostly we would comment on each other's tapes. Oh, this thing that you told me. Here's what I think about the thing you told me. Or here's what I've been working on. I think the thing you're working on is really great. Here's the thing I'm working on. What do you think about that? That kind of thing. It was a lot of it was we were planning a visit. I actually came to a lot of tapes were. When I'm going to be there and things like that. I was in Kent, Ohio at the time, and I came to Austin and visited, God knows what year it was, but for a little while. Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
Dan and I met,
We were going to college.
Yeah.
And he walks into the room and walks up to the art professor and says, "Hey Al, how's the art scene?" I thought, that's a cool guy. Then he was the model for the classroom. And they put him, he was real big and fat back then. And he went into a grocery cart and his fat was coming out like hamburger. And then everybody was drawing him, and he piddled. He was leaning on a stool, and he piddled on it whenever it was So when the next year came around, I said, you shouldn't model anymore. Something disgraceful. So you quit.
Just so everybody knows, I've got way worse stories on him, but I am not going to tell.
Yeah, this one
Thanks.
here.
Thanks.
I'm
Take
going
it to a roast,
not
like
do
a-
it. He actually drew me with my fat bulging through that grocery cart too. That drawing exists somewhere.
That's what I have.
You have that.
And you know, Dan also, he actually forgets a little, just to answer the question about how we met. We actually met before college. We met before either one of us was in college. A friend of ours, do you remember Bob Jones, Dan? Remember that?
Remember the name. I
Always
can't-
wore a welding cap.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
he was a friend of Dan's, and he introduced me to Dan a couple times before that, and then we actually got to be friends later on after that. But we met early. Which he always forgets.
You just didn't make any impression.
I guess that's what it was.
Down on the end.
Were there any additional pressures playing the man when he's sitting in the audience?
Yes.
Especially when he walks out the first day.
Did that crush your, did that crush your
I
confidence?
couldn't tell,
when
I
you
couldn't
walked
tell
out?
from last night tonight that you did that very well.
Hey, the rock show at the end that should be on MTV. I was watching Kiss, I was listening to Kiss today, and that was some hard rock. They really did it great. That's going to be a single, man. Let's try it. Try to have a hit with that. I love
That's your
it.
song.
I know, but them singing it sounds better. I like their arrangement. I think we ought to try to make a single out of it or something.
Sit with us sometime.
Well, yeah, maybe,
Hey,
yeah.
Daniel, did you notice that the drummer had the bulldog with a...
I saw that, yeah. It was scary. And he was doing all his rock and I thought it was like Weird Al Yankovic or something. But that was excellent, man. We've got a hit on our hands. We're going to be millionaires. No.
That lady has a question.
Hey, so did y'all make any recordings of this music? And if not, will you?
I think just the one that's on the tape.
We recorded every night. Did you
Every
toss it
night.
out
Did
tonight?
he throw
No,
it out
I
tonight?
decided tonight that somebody should go home with it, but I just don't know who yet.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Most nights Matt pops out the tape at the end of the night and tosses it into the
Matt,
audience.
could I suggest, I gave Bill the original, the
Uh-huh.
CD of the original.
Uh-huh.
Give him that when he wanted to make comparisons.
I
So
can do
maybe
it.
give it to Bill.
All right. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
But also, I think we were taping tonight, right? We were.
Yeah, we were videotaping.
So
Oh, cool.
We'll see what
We
happens
would
with
love
that.
that, we would love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.